Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's No Reservations, and I've done one.
And I'm Marie. Now, last week we talked about a lot of give and take, just support, and how you can't really take things personal when others don't give what you give.
No.
So that's what we had in last week's episode. But today's a pretty special day. It's Thanksgiving, first of all.
It is. So I don't know what y'all are doing, but be thankful for the things that you're thankful for and your family and your loved ones, your health and being here and all that stuff. And remember those who aren't here. But it is a very interesting turkey time, no reservations, because, you know, we always have great guests in. And today we're going to do things a little different today, right?
Right.
And without further ado, so our guest today, this person, multi-talented, very insightful. He'll fill up your cup, but remember, you got to fill his cup up as well, right? He's multi-talented. We call him brother, we call him family, and you know, you might know about a lot of names, but I know him as my brother, AllHailPan. What's up, bro? Cheers! Hey, no reservations.
Cheers.
Boom, boom. Cheers to you at home. Be thankful.
Hey, cheers. Man, thanks you guys. This is dope. This is fun being on here, hanging out with y'all. Always a good time.
Always a good time. Thanks for being here, bro. Thanks for taking your turkey time out and just being here and, you know, sitting down with us.
I know what I'm talking about. Y'all are family. This is, you know, a season of what people call family, you know, seasonal time of that. So honored to be here. Been a fan of the podcast. Like all the episodes going on, was just listening to y'all's one yesterday, this morning, and it was making me think a lot about giving and taking. God damn it, had me thinking deep.
Hey, that's kind of, you know, that's the kind of conversations we have normally, you and I, the three of us individually. So it only makes sense, you know, give and take. It is a thing, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing. I feel like our circle, the four of us, shout outs to Erin. She's not here, but shout out to her. The four of us, we all fill each other's cups in our own ways. And I feel like we all do that for each other. And it's definitely a give and take type of relationship. It's not a facade. It's not, I'm doing this for you because you have to do something for me. It's just, we're family and this is what we do for each other. We're all givers. That's the one thing. Remember, we were talking about give and take last week. So we're all givers.
We really are all givers. Like, especially like Dunn and I, our text messages are so ridiculous because like he'll try and compliment me or something and I just ignore it, but then I try and compliment, but then he'll ignore it of that thing. But then we try and acknowledge it because we're grateful the other person is doing it, but our trying of acknowledgement is very in its infancy and it's pretty hilarious. It's
Like, because it's genuine, too.
because it's genuine. Exactly. Yes, it's so good. I love it.
I love it. There's a reason why you guys are as close as you guys are, because you guys are almost the same person, because I can see why you guys get along, because you guys can't receive, you just give from both of you guys.
I mean, we give and we receive, but how we receive is different, just like how we give is different. Pan just said, compliments here, ignore them there, compliments back, ignore them back.
There's a type of reactor within us that produces an excess of that like we can give far more than like some maybe some others reactors can. Our energy somehow feeds off that. Now when our reactor does get low, it's critical mass. It can be so bad.
Reactors about to overload, but you're empty.
Yep. I mean, I've seen that with you in the last like month. So 2 months almost now with your foot. I've seen your
Sideline injury, motherfucker.
Yeah, I've definitely seen you.
Fucking A-frame, motherfucker.
It's been in critical red for the last
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah, 3 months, pretty much.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that off camera. You know, critical mass on low. That it has to be filled back up. Like, look, I'm a rechargeable battery as much as the next person. I'm giving you the whole charger kit that I need. Yeah, I'm filling you up, and I'm on E.
Filling you and giving the charger kit.
Like,
Like,
wait,
wait a
here you
minute.
go. I didn't know
I'm
you didn't have
charging
one.
your charger kit with this thing and do that. Yeah. I get that. That's super hard. I get your situation.
Would you say growing up, bro, is where the giving comes from? Maybe you didn't receive it growing up. You did too much.
This, yeah, interesting question. I think I had like complicated childhood and growing up in some things, but I remember from very early on, people would tell me that I was very giving. I think I immediately had like a type of like really strong empathy, like that I was born with. And then just through some certain situations and growing up, that wasn't um, a way to feel that worked in the situation that I was in. So I had to change the way that I was to like get through the situations that I was in, but didn't let that stick kind of with that. Also, just able to afterwards be able to revert back and say, even though, yeah, maybe it feels good to not feel these certain things or certain stuff like that, the empathy is what give you I kind of used to think that the other side was like a superpower, the ability to not feel it, but in that the feeling was a curse. But the feeling is as much of a superpower as the other one there. Just like wild experience. But I'm here to feel and experience just everything that there is on this planet. So yeah, I think my giving came. I was just I was giving person and then struggle with some certain things like that. And then now I've just, chosen to continue being that way just because it brings me peace. Like, that.
Right. It brings you joy to genuinely give outwardly to those who are looking to receive or need to receive something. And like I said, I'm just asking because I know that it comes from me and how I grew up, so it's innate. Like I give, I don't know what it is to receive, but I do receive though. From the small group that we have, that's the chosen family.
You think that it's maybe like fear to receive that the what we were receiving, like we didn't like what we were receiving, and so we're really comfortable giving things, but we protect ourselves at a super high cost. And in the receiving, there is possibility of something like that. I never thought about that until then, but
Oh,
something
that's crazy.
maybe
Put it that way. That
maybe
what
it
we
was
were receiving was not the right version of it, so we had to give out the better Motherfucker, bro, chinga su madre.
Well, this just makes me think of all the therapy time that I've done. And you make a good point. The way we are sometimes, it's a trauma response. So maybe something happened growing up that we were traumatic to the point where we're like, we don't want to feel that. The child inside of us is saying, I didn't like how that was received, so I'm going to protect it at all costs. And it's your firefighters trying to make sure I don't want to receive anything now because I want to make sure that I don't feel that specific feeling again. So it's having to like talk to your inner child and saying, "Hey, it is okay. We've learned, we've grown. Now let's move forward."
yeah. Yeah, I
Stop it,
agree.
guys.
It is like
Fuck.
the I know. You just-
Fuck.
Knowledge.
Therapy Thanksgiving.
I know. Hey, that's what I'm talking about for real. Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
Thanksgiving is about. We
Yeah.
give out our knowledge.
But I think like it came like in our way too. Like it must have come from somewhere. Like I I I internally had to win in certain ways when I was young, and like my parents or whoever else at the time that was giving me trouble, like what they were doing, it was like an internal thing of like, okay, are they winning right now, or am I like winning of this kind of thing, or like and so sometimes getting like that was a way to like if you're not receiving anything, then that can't affect you at all. And so then that isn't even something that can affect your continuation or winning over here in a dangerous winning Tiger Blood style. Yeah. Charlie Sheen. You know what I'm saying?
Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen.
Hey, dude.
How do you say it, cabrón? Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. Charlie.
Charlie. S-H. Charlie Sheen.
Sheen.
C-H. Reverse.
Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. Tírala, cabrón. Chinga. But yeah, fuck, bro. This shit is crazy. Like, again, bouncing around and shit. What was received, what was being thrown at you as received, was not good. Like for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're making me think this, both of you. What gets thrown at me is shit, right? So I'm like, oh, I can recognize it. Oh, sabes qué? Watch out. Watch out. Get the fuck out the way. Sucks. Sucks. So we protect it at all costs, like you say, right? That's why I'm very receptive on that thing that I call 9.5 times out of 10 right. Is because I could see that motherfucker from a mile away. I'm like this. You really, what's going on, fool? What are you doing? What are you doing here?
For real.
You're not even supposed to be in the equation, this thing.
For
I
real.
thought it was this. Why is this in the fucking equation? When I can receive those things immediately, like Marie will tell me sometimes, she'll be like, how the fuck do you know shit that you don't know nothing about? Motherfucker, because I know. I know how to receive the wrong shit. Like, my receptors are up. So that's to say, giving is important to me. I'll push it to the limit because that makes me feel good because I want you to be better. I want you to be better. I want anyone to be better. Just take it. It's all good. But don't take it. Receive it. Don't take it.
And like what like some of what y'all were talking about even last time, it had like even talking about y'all often talk about relationship stuff and different things like that. And I believe hugely in like balance and in things in your life. And like I sometimes have conversation with people that I'm like, so I've chosen to be in a relationship with Aaron. And so because of that, I'm dedicating like, and I'm living with her as a life partner, dedicating like 50% of myself to like Aaron. So 50% of me goes there of this energy or this other. And then there is further energy for my friends and other family. So this relationship needs to be maintained, or with other friends like that. That's however much other percent of 20% or something here. So now I'm down to 30%, and there's still some other things of this like that, and there's my art and my music and stuff down in there too. But that never I allow it to go there, even if my other 50% is even like in support of it, because this is the balance if you're choosing to be with another person of this. And so trying to just maintain that to keep a healthy relationship with that and not ever go too far into my art or too far into my music or anything like that. No matter how I feel about it or anybody else feels about it, that's a fraction of this stuff that I've chosen to kind of have in my life and that. And that's kind of the way I balance like my stuff there and trying at least in my relationship to do the give and take kind of thing like that.
Yeah, because that's how relationships are. You know, you choose to be with that certain person and you have to give a certain amount of time to that person. You may not always agree, as you and I have had our, disagreements on early on, but then we've learned how to communicate better, communicate effectively, and be able to separate out like, okay, this is what I can give to you and what I want to give to you. This is what I'm choosing. And then that person receives. But that's the best part about like our relationship is that because we know that about you, if you have no energy for us at that point because she needed more energy or whatnot, we're like, okay, cool. Because you communicate that. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling it. And we're like, you know what? Cool. Let us know though if you need anything from us because we'll be there. And I think that that's the part where a lot of people don't understand the give and take and assume that, well, my partner, yes, I live with this person, or I'm with this person, but all of this other stuff is going to supersede their needs. And then that's where fights happen. That's where relationships fail. And I feel like that's how you and Aaron, I see you guys as this power couple because you guys know how to give the energy to each other, still around you, but know when it's time to just be there for each other. And I think that that's what makes your guys' relationship so freaking amazing. And I'm so happy to be a part of your guys' friendship.
Yeah, it's an honor. You guys are very inspiring in creation of many things, ideas, spawning ideas, and testers, testing, testing.
Scientists.
I love that. That you do that. When I heard you first say that, testing. You guys are a testament in your creation. When we step into your humble house, it's there. The home is there. You can tell a person's home because it's written on the wall, literally. You know what I mean? I think we had a conversation the other day where Maria and I were saying something to the effect. I said like, you could tell how someone's home is. We were watching some shit, and I was like, "Motherfucker, don't live there. You don't live there. We don't live there. Chile. That's our Airbnb because you make your home." And there's a lot of creation and love in the room. You can get lost in everything, not just in the light spectrum, the art on the wall, the various varieties of art, mind you. So to what you're saying, you have to split all your percentages. You put 100% into everything, but mathematically and realistically, half amigos here, half amigos there, but it's 100 no matter what it is. All right. So
That definitely.
so people have to fill you up. It's only natural to give back. But what I'm really trying to say is that, like, it is an honor to know you guys. We gel so much and relate. That's what it should be about. The relatability between people. It's an open conversation. It's not like waiting to jump in or I can't say this or that.
I mean, what did I just say about getting a compliment? Like, what the fuck is going on here all of a sudden?
It's not a
Goddamn.
compliment.
Oh, god damn.
Okay.
It's for Aaron then. Aaron,
Thank you.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, Aaron is a
Amazing, Aaron.
saint. To deal with my ass.
Well, how did you guys meet? How did you and Aaron meet?
Tune in, look, watch.
Yeah.
This is this version.
We met when I was 24 on Xbox Live. She was in another state. She was in Tennessee. I was in Virginia. And I was like chainsawing motherfuckers in what's that game called? I forget now. But Gears of War. And there was like some people in there that like were talking or something, and I went into their chat group. And inside that chat group was like 8 people or something. And Aaron was in there. and we were talking and stuff in that chat group, and ended up like staying up super late that night, talking really late in that chat group. So this initially we had met online, but like
Video
online
game.
through a video game. Yeah, this is interesting with that. And then we kind of had briefly dated long distance, and then that didn't last but like a month or two. Um, then we've been really close, good friends for a long time. And then she was going to school up in St. Louis. Went up there to like finally meet her, and was trying to get back in a relationship with her, which did not work, but I did meet her. Shit. And we were still good friends, and just on and off the years would talk to each other and different things. And then back at like 2017, 16 area or something like that, and we reconnected. And yeah, it was just really great. That's why I came to Arizona. She had actually gotten her master's here at ASU, and then was living here, and I came out to visit. This time we were already dating, so like I didn't have to try again so hard. I came out here and I loved Arizona. Like Arizona was the best. I was like I belong here, and yes, our relationship is the best. And so I moved out here, and yeah, just met you guys, different things through that, just kind of continue stuff. All Hail Pan was born when I came to Arizona. It was before Arizona. It was not All Hail Pan. Um, so the name came from here. The name Pan, I've had that nickname for a long time, and my musician name, I'll go back to like early. That way, this just makes a little bit more sense of that. But I did. My family's a real musical family. My mom like has just great voice, plays piano, done stuff in like the symphony choirs and stuff. And her parents, her dad played in symphony orchestra. My uncle has a music studio. My sister majored in music and in voice, like things. So it's like my family's very musical and extended family of that. So I've been around a lot of music in my life and different things. Um, Mostly classical music in the beginning of that, and I loved classical music. I'd tell my mom at like a super early age. She'd tell me, she goes, "You knew the difference between like major and minor chords and these other things, but you'd express it with an emotion." She'd be like, say that I'd say, "This part sounds sad, Mom. This part sounds sad," or "This part sounds happy," or "This part sounds," and I link it to an emotion. So it only made sense that if somehow I was linked with emotion, that I started using music to as my journals, like that, because that's my emotion kind of release of that. And so I was around, pianos and stuff, playing some keys, and then pianos would be hard to move and stuff. So eventually my mom would get like a keyboard or something. The synthesizers I love. I just fell in love with just the synthesizers, all the weird sounds that they had on them and different things. Just like, oh, really loved that. And then like my parents' tape collection, I'd go through their tapes, just try and find it. I'd like my mother's classical music taste and stuff. I loved that. My dad's side was like John Denver and some other folk stuff that I was like, didn't really like that. But then, I'd find things like, Vangelis, or some this famous synth like composer, and Inya, other things. I'm like, oh wow, like this has these synthesizer sounds. I love like electronic music, and everything with electronic music. And then I was also very much like encyclopedia nerd. Like when my mom would take me and my siblings to the library, they would kind of go to the children's section or the other book section. I'd just go to like the reference book section and look at these huge books that had these crazy pictures of these animals or bugs or these other places in the world, like things like that. And it sucked because I couldn't check out those are the only books in the library you can't check out are the reference books. And so so when the first uh digital encyclopedia came out, my dad was in computer stuff like that and things and was able to get it, and it was called Microsoft Encarta, and there was a huge amount of discs.
I loved that.
Throwback.
I had that too growing up. That had so much knowledge in it. Like you just learned so much about everything and anything. Slow ass computer, obviously, but
It changed like a lot of me because not only did I mean I had a mother ton of discs that you'd be putting into this thing, but like it had sound files and other things, so I could read about India and see like a picture and hear a sitar and just mind blown, like what, or hear like music from Iran and hear a santur dulcimer or something. And I was just or I remember this like pygmy flute music from Africa, like in things, and it was just fascinating. It's fascinating. I was obsessed with like world music and different things like that, and that would greatly affect the music that I would make of things because I was always doing some kind of things on piano or synth, eventually guitar and things like that. But the names, like I would get inspired by things I would read in encyclopedias. And so I've read about like this blood moss or blood algae that they called it, just grows on this snow and it just looks red and it's in this other part of the world and it's like in these high altitudes or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then like I look at the scientific name and it's like all long and weird and I'm like, okay, I, that makes me think of like sounds. What does that sound like? So I made this track of like sound stuff and then I named it like that name in hopes that if anyone heard it, that they would be curious of what that meant and they'd look that up and then they'd read and now they learned about this blood algae on the other side of the world. Oh, like watermelon moss or something like that. And it's like, hey, you wouldn't have known that if this thing or something. And yeah, that's where my name came from. Was I had like way too many music projects at the time. It was like early 2000s. I had 25 named projects, like with different names, different music, and different things. All just me, but different genres, different everything, and in a different name.
Like you were teaching people. Like it's almost like you said, a certain analogy. You name this track this. Like it's ironic that, like, wow, that's crazy. Like I'm teaching you something. Yeah, you like this. This is what it. This is what that word sounds like to me.
I'm a
And this is how
nerd.
I pronounce it.
I'm a
Are you
nerd.
listening?
Like,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And go look it up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a nerd that way. And like I remember reading about the super oceans, and this is now on like Wikipedia. And I read about like Mirovia and Panthalassa, and I was like, man, Panthalassa, that sounds cool. And it was the super ocean that surrounded Pangea, and it means like sea of seas or like all seas. And I was like, that just makes me think of the most sounds and music in my head of ever. And I was like, now everything I make is just going to be under the name Panthalassia, like on this thing. And so that's where the name Pan came from.
Right.
Was Pan meaning all, like everything, like the things of that.
This fool hit you with the root word type shit right now. Bro, wow, like the biggest of them all, like Panthalasia, the biggest ocean around that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's fucking mind.
Still touching people to this day right now. Even
Yeah.
now.
So then, like, when I was doing Panthalasia was when I first started even sampling things, because before that I was making everything. I mean, some sampling on like sound recorder on the computer and things, like some stuff, but not with like a DAW or anything like that. And so when I started sampling much more, I didn't know what sampling really was. So to me, it was like, this is a remix. This isn't, if I'm sampling something that is beautiful of your song, I try and take this like world music that people would normally listen to. They'd be like, fuck, I don't want to listen to some Mongolian thing. I just don't want to, you know. But if it's some other beats or something else and it has that, you might listen to it. But I wanted you, if you liked it, to look at the track name. And the track name said the artist's name, said the sound, the name of the title, where I got it from. Then in parentheses would say reworked by Panthalasia or something else. It was bring attention to these places and these artists that are like around the world. It's like what that was. That's what I was doing.
Like you're recognizing, you're giving homage, if you will. Like I couldn't do this because I didn't hear from X, Y, and Z. Wow, bro, that's crazy. Like how it transcends.
And then it just, so then I kept that name for a long time, probably like 10 years or so. And then interestingly, Erin reminded me, I guess when I moved here, I told her that I was done with a lot of certain things with music. I guess I said like, yeah, you know, done with like collaborating and doing live things, and I'd always been doing that. Like I hadn't really played live stuff since like 2005 and things. Like really, it was like, no, I didn't like it, and I thought my music was too different for people to hear and in their systems. I was actually terrified for years of just sound people in clubs, because my music's been DJ'd in clubs a couple of times, and some of the really extreme projects too. And when that happened, the club freaked out. And it wasn't me that DJ'd it, but I was there and I saw how they reacted and how they made them change it. And I'm like, well, how could I do a live show? Because it's got to be even louder than what they freaked out if I was going to do that idea. And so I felt like discouraged that way, in a kind of thing that was like, you know, maybe that just the live stuff isn't for me. It's like in these personal settings that you may experience me live in or something. There's a random time I do it or something.
I mean, you do quite a bit of live shows. Like you're a work like I don't like to say workhorse, but like you really are passionate about it. You're in a community of musicians, and you're lucky enough to be amongst other artists that do music of different types. You know, shout outs to Yama Yama.
Hey, shout
You know
out.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Shout outs to everybody, you know, that you mess with musically, because you're real talented. But that's what separates you from people. You got to be different, and you naturally know that. You instinctively want to be that. Who else would like? To me, crazy shit, right? Those are like hip hop essences. Like you're supposed to leave jewels for people. You're supposed to teach something somewhere along the way of something, whatever that is, and like you're dropping gems on like, bro, this is before human, this is early earth. I'm talking great shit. I'm talking the greatest, the biggest. So again, like you just said, if you're gonna fucking have me, you know it's gonna be real loud. I'm gonna make you not be able to ignore me. Oh, you're on your phone. Oh, motherfucker. Watch this.
That Palo Verde show, that was loud. I did so loud. It was so good. Because, I mean, at Palo Verde, they're not going to tell me shit. They're not going to say anything. No one's going to say anything. And it was like packed that night for something, a huge ass sound system with that kind of thing. And yeah, I was told afterwards, like, no one could talk when I performed because it was so loud. And I was like, it's perfect. What do you mean no one could? Why was anybody wanting to talk when I'm performing? It's like, I mean, not in an arrogant way, but I'm doing a really personal thing for you right now in this thing. Like, you should pay attention to that.
I'm giving you my time. Can you give me a moment of your time?
That's another give and take thing. You're giving yourself, it's your most vulnerable self. So you want people to listen, to share that moment with you. So yeah, you don't want people to talk because you're like, no, this is my moment. I'm giving you my vulnerability right now. And yet you want to talk.
And I'm terrified.
Yeah.
It's like I'm up there, I'm terrified. I don't want to do this. I don't have to do this. I make this music and do other stuff. I don't have to be up here. It's uncomfortable. It's this. That does not encourage me to continue to do it. Like, it's like, I mean, it may look a certain way of confidence when I do things, but yeah, like, I feel massive anxieties when I play all the time. Sometimes even the smaller little thing, like the worst, and other stuff like that. I get huge anxieties. A lot of stuff, when it eventually changed to All Hail Pan, All Hail Pan's such an even weirder mix of stuff than any of my other stuff was, that, like, when I perform each time or I have an opportunity to do something, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And so either I write complete new material for just that thing, and maybe that will be the only time that that'll ever be performed. And I wrote it for that show, like, or something. Or, put together some kind of mix kind of thing like that and other stuff like
On the fly,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, just on the fly, and
real good.
really, really improv it. Like, it's a lot of All Hail Pan has about a 50 to 70% improv factor in a lot of the things that's going on with that. It's like, it's going to be different every time of certain things, because the stuff that doesn't have lyrics but has vocals, which sound like lyrics but really is just like textures. Like, and it's just like, I may think of words in my head, but then I'm not really saying that word, and I'm not really saying it fully, and it's not, maybe not even sounding like that, but I'm just like making some kind of sound, but I'm like going through a whole imagination thing where I go through a whole place and I describe it to you, but it is not in any language. It is literally by just trying to be how that would feel of that texture. And the other thing of using my voice is like a instrument like that. And I didn't want anybody that, like, no matter what language to have an advantage or disadvantage. You're all going to feel the same thing if I do this successfully. Like, if I do it, then the texture comes through. I'm just obsessed with, like, sound design, textures, and, like, nerds shit like that in the history of electronic music. Like, I'm really fascinated with just all of that.
That's what sets you apart, though. You have to be unique. Like I said earlier, you have to be unique in your craft. It's all right to be anxiety ridden when performing or last minute putting shit together. I'd be putting shit last minute together because life, again, to what you said earlier, 50%, half of me here, half of me there. And then, oh, I gotta do this. I'm doing a lot of other shit. I'm taking on a lot of other things, spreading myself thin. But for the greater good, those things don't need recharging. Those are pieces of me I give out, that we give out, as who we are.
And, like, anxiety, when on the things that I do feel that highly, and, like, I mean highly, when I perform the best, I think. So if I'm feeling loose, and during my performance, I may look loose at some point, but I am never loose. If I look loose, and I am really loose, then you'll hear loose. You'll hear it. It'll make a difference.
I know what you mean, though. Loose being very comfortable and like this is very familiar. I can walk through this. Uh, you
Just like,
perform. You
yeah,
perform. You do greatness, bro. Anytime I've ever heard you, that's the creativity that we're talking about. That's the part of you that creates, that gives you. That's how you charge yourself.
yeah, that's how I charge myself and how to like catharsis. Use like a like I say, like I make like sound journals. Like my music is a syringe taking out some things and putting it over here like this. And like actually this past weekend when I perform, I had someone say to me after the show something that was really special to me that no one's ever said to me before, and it meant everything to me. He said like, although your stuff and sound was some like touched on like a dark side and this other stuff, it was all okay because you were just so you were pure of this and you're not glorifying anything of that. And it meant like so much to me because some of the darker side of my art and sound stuff is not in any way glorifying that stuff or like going there or encouraging or anything. It in fact is that I maybe read something that's fucked up that humans did because I'm a nerd and I'm still reading stuff and it still affects what I make. But I may have read some and been like, wow, like that should never happen again. That's the most terrifying, like horrible instance. And I may reflect back something that hopefully feels uncomfortable like of something like that to just remind you of some like things of humanity and this other stuff like that.
Hmm.
This guy.
And I know I've definitely everything you post, I go and I listen to, I show it to Alexis, and she's always drawn to it. Also, we could definitely feel that frequency of what you're putting out there, and it's a good feeling when you could feel the music. You're not just hear it or listen to it, but you can actually feel it when you feel those raw emotions, and you're like, I feel something behind this particular track that just is drawing me in right now. And
Mm,
I think that that's something that your art does for us is it really draws us into feeling those raw emotions and feeling what you're feeling in the moment that you did what you did
mm,
and created your art. And it's something where I'm like, this isn't just electronic music. It's not just, I can't put your music in a genre, and that's what makes it so much more special. For me at least, it makes it very special for me because I'm like, I can't put this in just a specific genre because it's its own thing.
mm,
I think back to my favorite movie of The Craft, and I'm like, this is weird, but we are the weirdos, and that's okay.
mm,
And so I feel like in a sea of everybody who is trying to be like everybody else and is striving to have what everybody else has, you're the one that walks the opposite way and says, no, I'm not going to conform to this. This is what I do.
Walking in it's raining. You have a heavy bucket hat on, no jacket, and you're kicking the puddles of water. You have to. You're going against the flow. You're creating your own lane, your own sound, your own. You're leaving your own mark. Like you do so much in that in so many ways. Like you inspire our daughter. The gifts she's received from you, like physical gifts of music. That she holds dearly, and it leads her into her music endeavors. Those are the things. That's how you leave your mark. So that someone younger can come to you and go, "Hey, I have a couple questions," and you just go, "Oh, check it out. Here, look, basic, bam, bam, bam. Now do it your way, because I'm not going to tell you how to do you."
yeah, it was like I mean I was self-taught on my stuff, just figuring out things and that stuff, and then just as I started figuring out stuff, it was like okay, like I was in bands and different things, but always, bands, it didn't really work out with me for that because it was like, well, this, like, I have so many ideas in my head of this. Like, I need to be doing this stuff. Like, can you guys help me do this stuff? But everyone has great ideas and is doing their stuff. So I was like, okay, how do I do drums? Because I can't do drums. Like, I have timing and different things, but I can't do different things in my hand and my feet or like something else like that. I mean, I probably would practice to figure out something, but like I've got different timing and other stuff, but couldn't figure out that. So like then I was like, oh, you need some you can program drums like that. So then, when I started programming drums or things, then it was like, okay, now I don't need a drummer with this. I can just try and make my ideas come to light, like all these ideas. And I just like I'd have to listen to drums all the time, like in the beginning and stuff. Like, and I drop drums down into like FL Studio, and then I would just like place all the kicks and snares and all everything to like match all the drums to like figure out to like, oh, this is how that works. So I can now see these separate in each layer and like see these. Now I can figure, oh, I can hear this now in my head and see it as this layer and in this kind of like blocks, like in this.
No, that's dope. I mean, those. It's a process. You see it as I think as any artist, because that's what you are at the end of the day. They do say something like a true it's in you characteristic is the energy, but most of all that you can see it or hear it, depending on what it is. But really, what metaphorically saying when you see it, like, oh, there it is. I needed to play the oboe, not the piano today.
Yeah, I'm like, some high needs to be up here. Like, this okay down here, but I need like a high pitch.
You won't be restricted ever in any endeavor because you make it happen. Like you just said, hey guys, how do you do drums? Oh, fuck it, I'm doing drums. Make it happen. Nothing's gonna stop me. No one can create what's in here but you. You can explain it and someone's gonna see it if the communication and vision is there, but can't nobody see it but the artist who created it. Like, no, I gotta do this myself.
That's
We
why
or we as a team got to do it because that's how we work best or whatever. We push each other to be better, right? But in your sound, in your creation, in your art, in your inspiration, you just go, here you go. Take with it what you will.
Yeah. And by the way, the weed and drink kicked in at a great moment right now, and Dunn and I were doing pretty good helping each other through that moment. But letting you know that's where it kicked in. That moment, right during that conversation, is when it hit both of us.
we just might go to break. You know what? We're gonna go to commercial break real quick. We gotta fill up.
Yep.
Hey, let's do that.
We gotta recharge. You gotta go out there and do your thing. Go get your popcorn. Recharge.
Roll up.
Roll up, do some shit,
get
whatever.
some-
It's a different kind of no reservation. We'll be right back. We gotta go to commercial break, all right?
Hey guys, we're back with some more No Reservations. We're here with AllHailPan. We were just talking about that we were high as shit, actually. And we, in fact, got more weed and more drank. So we're ready to go. I'm ready to roll. Y'all ready to roll?
We're rolling. We've been rolling. Cheers. Cheers back on it, y'all. And we're back. So it's like they remember that because that's what happens. Sing. Cheers, guys. Oh, yeah. So, all right. So, we're talking about a lot of stuff off camera during commercial time. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to you, though, most importantly, for being here, bro. I know we don't have any sponsors. That's crazy as fuck, right? Anyways,
but hey, if you want to sponsor us, reach out to us. No reservations with a Z 24 at
Don't sleep on us.
gmail.com.
So right there, boom, that's what we're doing. One thing that I'm very curious about, right? Because for one, we bring up you and Aaron a lot. Power couple, genuine couple, creative people. You lean on each other. You do what y'all have to do individually and come together. So, like, video games, talking shit. Aaron talking shit online, probably fucking fools up on video
So
games,
much.
and you're like, damn, you're like,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be on her team, kill these motherfuckers,
Talking serious
all
shit.
sorts of masa, right?
You wouldn't believe it.
Okay, you guys
wouldn't believe it.
and shit. So you guys come together in Arizona. AllHailPan, is created to work with someone like you, to be in a relationship with someone like you. There, you work on it, right? You're working on yourself. You're working on the relationship with Aaron. So, like, how did you guys become forever homies in life?
Oh yeah.
How did
It's
you
a
how
great
did you
story.
how did you become like from AllHailPan to all fiancé pan to Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's great story. Um Earlier this year in March, I was smoking with my homie, and I was like, it's like about time that maybe I ask Aaron like to marry me. Aaron and I had already discussed stuff like year before, gotten rings for each other. So she already knew that I had a ring for her, and I knew that she had a ring for me. Like that she could do it too. So I was thinking like, maybe it's about like that time. And so he was like, how are you thinking about doing it? I was like, I don't know. We're thinking about going camping. And if we can go camping out at this special spot, I want to do it there because that's a place that we've been before. It has some great times there and other stuff. And then a few days later, I was smoking with same homie and I'm like, guess what? We're going camping. We're going to that spot, which means I'm going to ask like of that. He's like, oh, like so excited. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, Aaron asked me all the time to have a picnic. Like, and I always refuse. I'm like, no. Like, I was like, I'll have one this time. Like, and I'll use like, my homie had a really nice old basket and this other set kind of thing. I was like, I'll use that. So I was like, find a way to make us bring that with us. And he's like, done. And he did a good job of that. And so we go out, we're driving out to this place. And of course, I'm driving always super fast. And I see this cop way up there, and I just don't even give a shit. And thought it probably wasn't too bad or what I was going. I didn't know the speed limit. I wasn't paying attention. And he comes out, he comes out, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I see. Aaron's like, Caleb, like I'm like, yeah, I fucking know. Like, comes up, he like pulls us over. He's like, y'all going camping without me? It's like I didn't even want to answer that because it was so stupid, so I didn't answer that. And then he asked again. He's like, y'all going camping without me? I'm like, well, come on. And he's like, I can't. I'm working. And I'm like, I know. Like, what is that? What the fuck? What the fuck? And he's saying something about the speed and all this other stuff. And then he comes back and he's like saying that he's going to like write me a written warning that like or something, which is great because I get to keep it for that, which I still have in his great memory. And like, he's like, am I not the greatest cop ever? I'm just like, he says it again. Am I not the greatest cop ever? I'm like, yep. No, give me that thing. Like, get the fuck out. God damn, you're a piece of shit. Like, get the fuck out. And Aaron's like, always gets so stressed with the loss. So that just made it even better. I loved it. It was just like, it just added to everything wonderfully. And so we continue on, go off. It's like extremely off road. And like, you have to have like 4-wheel drive. And you are driving on crazy rocks and like is like but the you end up on cliffside of like super beautiful with a view of like Lake Roosevelt. And so we get our favorite spot even is open. The first time we went there, that's the spot that we stayed at. So set up over there, do that. That was a Friday. The next day kind of comes, do some walks around there, other stuff. Lunchtime kind of comes, this stuff. I'm cooking up this meal for us. I'm like, let's have a picnic, this thing. She sets it down. It's like right on the cliff edge. It's like the view was ridiculous. It was just so amazing. Like fucking Africa. Just like I felt like Simba being held, like, and like make this kind of thing go down. I'm like, okay, I want to play. We have a history in that area of playing the Blade Runner movie soundtrack. Um, like while we're hanging out, we've done it while watching the sky and other stuff like that. And it's just a movie we love and connect on, and the music is just incredible. Vangelis from Synthesizer stuff I mentioned earlier. But so I'm like, if we put that on, I think like 5, 6 tracks in or something, is this song "One More Kiss," and it's like super beautiful song. And I was like, we love that song, and I was like, maybe I can set up a camera and ask Erin to dance with me on the edge of that, just as a romantic thing, and like. She won't think too weirdly of it, even that, because I do romantic things like that from time to time. So, like, everything worked out perfect. It was like the timing there, the song came on. I'm like, oh shit. She looks at me in a way that's like, I'm like, oh shit. Like, in the same way, like as if she knew that was about to happen or something. It's like, what? And I like ask her, like, can I record something and us do like a little dance thing or something like that? And she's like, okay, yeah. And like, this sounds good. And I wanted to, like, during the dance, propose to her. So I set up the camera, got this great view, like, of that to capture the thing. And then when I came back, Aaron proposed to me. And then I broke. My mind was just like, error. I was just like staring like at like I knew what was in the box that she just handed me. I was like, wait. I'm like, what about this? And I like took out that and gave it to her. And it was like the double proposal at the very same time. And we did a little dance. It was so beautiful. And just like she's like, was that okay? Like, or so I'm like, are you kidding? Like, there's no way you could have surprised me more than doing it right before I was about to do it to you. Like, at all.
I'm getting all teary eyed right
It's
now.
wild. It's wild.
I remember the first time they told us when we asked, and Dana and Dion were with us, we were all like, that is the cutest thing ever. We need to talk about that in some way, shape, or form and bring it out because that just goes to show the true love that you guys have, the connection that you guys have. It's more than just you're going to be my wife and I'm going to be your husband. It's this best friend, like this real soulmate that you guys have. That just amazing connection.
We had to leave early. We left like basically not long after that because the storm started coming in. And like that area is already really rough, like I said. And in fact, it was so rough that on the way back, when we pulled into our garage, we had 4 flat tires. And it had just then let it go. Like it let us get all the way back there. and then 4 flat tires and like gas or like yeah, we had to get
Roll out
4 new
4
tires
flats.
of that kind of thing that they were severely kind of messed up from. I mean, it's a remote area and the rocks are crazy. It was a crazy area to get to, but like it was amazing. It was amazing.
It all happened in like perfect timing.
I was like, I can deal with this tomorrow, no problem. I can now enjoy the rest of this day, everything. I'm back home, this is perfect. Like, it was the best. Not even upset or anything. It was just like, damn, but like, at least we're here. Like, oh, okay.
Bro, that's crazy. And that's just like a small journey, bro. There's so many things in between. There's so much creation you got going on. If that makes any sense, you know. I'm paraphrasing it, but you know, shining the light on you that you already shine. You know, giving back, reflecting back on you, but the good reflection or ref- that fucking, you know what the fuck I mean over there.
No,
Reflecting,
you've actually like confused me out.
like last episode, remember?
Project-
Púntale, cabrón, chinga su madre.
We're in the
All
wrong
that to
letter
say, but
category.
anyway, the light that you project, okay, onto others, is to take it away from you, right? And you create so much, though. You inspire a lot, man. That shit is dope, bro. You know, I just want to shine the light on you, whether they call it giving you your flowers, on everyone that comes here. But this platform is more to really talk that talk that you really are, that shines through, which is why to shine the light on you. You know what I mean? The things that I hear from you, the times that we share, creating, just brainstorming, hanging. You know, you gotta fill it back up. The time. You know, we're only here for so long. You know, sideline injury. You know, being home sideline is great. It gives you a lot of time to think, but sometimes you have to get out to recharge. You know, to the point where you go bust the highlight and shit all day, and you're over here cankling out to hey share a piece of time that matters. You know. I mean that's a long-winded shit, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I appreciate
Don't
you
take
guys.
my don't take my
No, I appreciate you guys. I know we struggle with that this day, but I really appreciate it, and just I love chatting or hanging with you guys anytime I can. So it's always good to like anytime we get to know each other more, or just continue to build on that is always awesome.
Yeah, it's always nice, and you and Aaron always come up in our conversations when we're talking about stuff. We're like, oh, Aaron, this and Pan, this and this and that, and one of the things that just really sticks to me is when we first got to enter your guys' home. I almost felt a certain type of like energy and aura, and every time I go into your home it's always this energy and aura, and it's always like only certain people are allowed to be in your home. I understand that you guys do not let everybody in. If you let them in, it's because you truly feel some type of way, and although we learned that some people still aren't meant to be in our lives and whatnot, but that was something that I really took from you guys. Not letting everybody into our home is being selective and having that specific energy and keeping that peace. And it's something that I notice you and Aaron do a lot. Me and Aaron are very similar in the sense of we can get overwhelmed with people to the point where we're like our energy, like our battery's low. Like I don't want to hang with anybody. And we've done that before where we've all made plans, and then it's like, oh well, Aaron's not really feeling well. We're like, you know what? That's fine. She's probably tucked it out. Like if she went into the office more that week or something of those sorts. And that's just something that I feel like we connect on so much. It is the burning of our incense, our the energy that we have in our homes, the cats that we all have. It's just something that we all connect in, and I'm super grateful that I got to meet you when we did the Lourdes shoot, because that's the first time I met you and I met Aaron, and just really getting to know you guys more now, even more now, and us doing this podcast and this episode. I've learned more about you than I've known in the last I think it's
Mhm.
been 2 years since
Mhm.
we've known each other
3
now.
years.
3 years, maybe three.
Maybe 3.
Yeah, but it's just it's amazing because you've made such an impact on even Alexis, to the point where she's like, "Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. And what do you think Pam will say? Or what do you think Aaron will say?" And um, the collaging that Aaron does, which obviously we'll talk about when we get to talk with her, but it inspired Alexis to do her shoes. So now she decorates her shoes like crazy. And to her, that's like, this is my collaging. This is what I do. I put my different colors together. And that is her sense of style. You'll know how she's feeling based on which shoes she's already done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the shoes that she decides to wear for that day. But it's something that you've made such an impact on her that her mind is just blown now. She loves you guys to death. I know that for sure. I know she what is that called? She shouted you guys out in her little episode because you guys have really inspired her.
Yeah, so that meant a whole lot. She's awesome. I love, like, I mean, any kind of inspiration that you can give someone to choose a creative route or a creative outlet in life, no matter what that is. I think should be encouraged, like in some things like that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because some people even have it so strong they can't not do this thing. So when it's not nurtured or that thing, then it winds up turning into something far worse or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You okay over there?
No, we just don't worry. Okay.
Breathe out. What's going on? Have a sip.
What's going on, peg leg?
What's
going on over there, sideline? No, but yeah, that's why it's important.
I think, and happy Thanksgiving,
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. I hope you're having a good time with us. Thanks for rocking with us. You too, especially, But
what surrounds you in your home and things like that is super important. I mean, that's your home. I mean, that's your home. So what you smell, as far as incense, or as far as what other things are kind of in there, things that are burnt,
energy.
Anything, the mood lighting of other stuff, like Lee Scratch Perry talks about color magic and other stuff, and it's like, I don't believe in like a magic, but like the color magic for my for inspiration and for how I feel of like other things and how colors can make you like, really feel certain ways, affect that kind of thing. Definitely.
Bro, that's even to when we started today's podcast. When you were like, "Oh, that color spectrum right now you got going on. That's my shit. Those are my colors."
Yeah,
I was like,
my
"Oh,
home.
let's see what's up." Like it's meant to be. It was written already.
Kind of from like the red to blue. So you've got like the red with all the emotion that has to the blue, and you have the whole mix in which it turns into purples and pinks and these other things in between, and just it's a beautiful scheme. It's like that's our home colors.
That's the spectrum. That's the spectrum that we're in. That's the vibration. That's the color. That's the if they say frequency, right? Then that's the frequency. The color wave.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say frequencies.
Stop being in my brain.
Yeah, it's the frequencies of everything, of the colors that we protrude from ourselves, and how comfortable we're all feeling and just letting it all happen naturally. And we can vibe. We can all vibe without there being any type of animosity, being any negative type of energy. It's always just a positive energy. I never ever feel drained after being with you, which is nice because there are some people that are like vampires and just suck the life out of you, and you're like, I'm so drained, but why? And it's because you hung out with those certain types of people. But with us, it's never felt like that. I've never felt drained or like, okay, my battery's low. No, we're all filling each other's cups at the same time that we're feeling everything out and trying to pour into one another's cups. You guys are pouring into each other's cups. Like, it's just this 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 type of community world that we've all built together.
And it's to what you say, but it's that intersecting point that I always talk about is that it's your world, mine, Aaron, okay? It's that intersecting part that I always talk about. I don't know, they talk about it in math or science.
It's in English, it's a Venn diagram, but normally it's two circles where it's like the differences and then the what makes them similar. But we've got four.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And in those Venn diagrams, if you will, we cross section because there's relatability here with this, there's relatability here, and the common factor is a person, a being, but it's really the energy that they bring out. It's like an olive branch, right? It's like a tree rooted in what it is. Here's the branches. And so what I'm trying to say is the intersecting parts is what matters. That's where relatability and growth and filling cups up genuinely and receiving and giving comes into play, how it naturally happens. Everyone's getting charged.
They're almost everything. The intercepting parts of that are everything in that. It's like, I mean, those interception points in that kind of way that does it is why, as us as an adults are like, this is right. This is okay. This, it doesn't have to be that way or something, but within this group and this Venn diagram, this does that, and this doesn't, or maybe this doesn't, and it's like, but this does over here. So hold on, like this Venn diagram works for just naturally, like of some things like a lot of my stuff that is like can be controversial about my outlook and thing is that I try to remove like spirituality from anywhere that it is. I think that it's like it's like not even religion, but religion is so bad, but even just spirituality as a whole, like or something needs to be I just see it damage too many people or cause too many other divisions and these other things like that. And so I just try and thought like for a while, like how do I even live the opposite of this since I was raised in that extreme stuff?
Bro, I'm not a sayer of things of that aura or nature, but so 13, right? There's a point. I promise. 13, right? It's an unlucky number, right? It's known as an unlucky number, like some sort of like devil number or something. Perception.
That's what it's perceived as.
Okay.
Like we've talked about in past episodes.
Yeah.
The world has said this number is unlucky, so that means it's unlucky.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So you're very like, no, let's take that part of life or the equation of life out, the religious aspect, because everyone has a perception. Mm-hmm. There's multi perceptions, and the reason for that being is because it's Homeboy and his 12 homies, right? It's big OG and his 12 homies, right? Mm-hmm. And they do some shit, right? For a while, right? But the big homie decides that he's gonna take one from the team, so to speak, and knows who's gonna speak his name in vain and do all this and that. So the point is this: it's always big homie and his homies. The number 13 comes from that. It can't be 12 people; it's 13 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's 13 people. I'm not here trying to speak on ill of either side, though.
See, I say, like, take all of that and put that into the artistic map of your mind. Do not put it in the place that, like, directs your life and, like, affects these other things. Put it into your art and your artistic thing. Oh, if you can believe the most extreme things kind of in this way, as long as it remains in your art world and separate from this other piece. And I was trying to say, like, be real careful what you mix with that, because I just see it and I've experienced, like, damaging effects from that or division that it leads to. Even those that don't even know that it does that are causing that. And so I just kind of just, I know that's a controversial thing that I do with that, but I feel very strongly about due to like how I was raised and other things that like, you know, I've seen this used in a way that is not okay for in the world. Or like you say with the 13, think about like why in this in the US when you think of snakes,
People that do bad things behind your back and they snake into your life to be evil to you.
so
Yeah.
like in another part of the world they're not seen as evil at all. At all. Like that comes from like maybe the Christian Adam and Eve and this is the serpent and the snake or something like that. But like just yeah, perspective and different things of looking at stuff and just thinking, well, what if yeah, you know, something else had happened a little differently.
And again, you're right. You're right. Everyone's right. Everyone has a perception
100%.
and perspective, but like 13 is not a bad number. That's what I was also getting at too. 13 is not the bad number because it's the change. A cycle goes this way, and in order for a cycle to happen, there has to be change, and for change to happen, there has to be a thing to happen. So taking the hierarchy, the higher power element out of it, I'm saying the change is within everyone. You're the change in what you do. You're the change in what you do, and vice versa. The 13 is not bad. It doesn't mean something bad. It's good. There's good. There's just perception of things that could be perceived as dark, which doesn't really mean dark, like darkness, like devilly things. No, it just means like, sorry, homie, there's a little like my light is dim right now because I'm not feeling good. This darkness. You know what I'm saying?
Even after the show that I just did this weekend, one of the close homies was like, "Man, that was badass!" Like this demonic kind of thing, like that. And I was like, "Oh, like, was it demonic? Like, what kind of thing?" Or like, because it was like, "Oh, like I see it as like alien, like this, you know, track that you were saying like this. It was like this. I see kind of as like an alien beam down into a human body suddenly when the act starts." So like it had like this ramping up sound in the beginning for 2 minutes. There was like a traveling sound, and then it goes into a body, and that being is the AllHailPan being. And it is very uncomfortable. It's like that dude in Men in Black that's like, it's kind of thing like that. And so you hear him making these weird sounds and first things as he's beamed into this body. And it's like, you can hear it as demonic in this. And that's interesting. I love all of it, of that thing. But it's like, but what if it's not demonic, it's just a misunderstanding like of that, and it's this thing like in which it's no, it's not that. You think that because you've heard movies that use a pitched voice for a demon's voice. That's it. That's why you said that.
Perception.
Yeah.
Perception. Perception.
And that stuff can be fed to you and is fed to you by like, you know, things in media around. So just like, you know, be aware of that stuff. Be awake. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, believe. It's a different belief system. That's all it is. It's everybody's different belief system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and 13 is, you know, in what I believe in, it's actually a lucky number. You want to have 13. You know, you want to do that.
Lucky 13.
Yeah, lucky 13. Another one, but mitzvahs, right? But mitzvahs, did I say that right?
We might be saying it right or wrong.
Oh, yeah.
We might be saying it right or wrong.
Yeah, right.
You said it right. Yeah.
But look at them. What do they do at the age of 13? They have those types of parties because that is when that child no longer is a child. They transitioned into a young adult. So for them, it's significance of the next transition in life, the next chapter in your life. And I feel like that's where a lot of people misunderstand that number. You know, like the other day when we went to that Edgar show at Valley Bar.
That's right.
And that parking garage had a 13th floor. And you were like, I've never seen that before. No, because everybody assumes, right, the 13th floor has all the ghosts, all the souls, all the demonic stuff. But it's just a perception that everybody collectively decided this is a bad number.
But it's not, because
Right.
everyone is entitled to their particular system of belief, because there was 13 fools writing for some shit that they believed in individually at the end of the day, and went back and made their own things. The 13 homies, they made their own mark in their people's culture, and they were believed on.
It was a free will.
Free will to believe in what you believe in the 13 versions of how life is at that time. So because of that, boom, 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 watch this. That's why you do what the fuck you do, bro.
You know,
So-
like it's like what do you think of when you think about a black cat? I don't know.
It's just a cat.
What comes to your mind though, like in our culture?
Well, okay, so there was two things. Growing up, my grandpa never let black cat cross him because he felt that was going to bring bad luck. Someone was going to die in our family. Same thing with owls. Owls is another. If an owl visits you, that means there's death about to happen in your family. That was the same thing with black cats.
So exactly, right there, that comes from even in the association of black cats with witches and other things, comes from back with the Black Plague, in which, you know, some of the people that would survive, because the Black Plague was being spread by rats.
Right.
So there were a lot of women that had cats, and they were not getting sick because their cats were killing these rats and doing this other thing like that. And so they were associated to be witches. They're associated to be evil, other things like that. And it literally is from all the way the fuck back then that we think that immediately in our brain like that. I still think that, knowing that, it still pops in my brain of this thing like that. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, that kind of shit I don't like. Like, what is it?
Bro, it's uncolonizing, undoing the things that they tell you it is when it isn't that way. They want you to think that way. You have to unprogram, unplug.
So you guys heard it here first in case we go missing.
Right? Damn, it's been an intriguing night, man.
We might be
Day, whatever it is.
uncovered.
It's Thanksgiving. God damn it. Look what we're talking
You
about.
know.
We're not talking about conspiracy.
Colonizing.
Colonizing
Thanksgiving.
stuff of a bitch.
Stuffing food on this colonizing
My bad.
day. Exactly.
Man, I gotta go.
Exactly.
We gotta make the
We had to go there. It's that day.
Wow. Man, hey, Pan. Well, there it is. That's time.
I mean, I do know. I mean,
For this, it's
that's
time.
just told us that.
It's time.
You
We
know,
love that you came in tonight. Show us your soundscape, your frequency colors. It's Thanksgiving. I guess it's time to go eat, right?
Oh yeah, we have to go eat. I like to watch my football.
hey, go eat and do that. Stuff your face.
Stop our
Get high. Get drunk.
Oh,
I
that's
say get wrecked and love life. Don't get wrecked if you don't love life, but get wrecked if you love life. I mean, thanks for having me here. Feel great. Feel, yeah, just like it was a good session. Got to connect even more with this stuff and just, look forward to, seeing what y'all continue to build with this and just, everything with that. Just, for anybody that is looking for my stuff, like, I know I don't have barely shit released and I have a million things created, so maybe something will come out, maybe some other things. I am working on things and I've had some setbacks of some other things that I'm working on trying to get those corrected, but yeah, shit's moving on. Check this, just my Instagram on that kind of stuff just has all my stuff on that, just for anything there. And just, I don't know. Be good to each other. All hail Pan. Like I said, Pan means all. So it means all hail all. So go out and hail each other like this kind of thing. So that fixes it. Like,
Yep, good way to end that.
definitely. Thanks, bro. Have a great day. Recharge. Hope you're charged up. Your cup is full. Keep kicking ass. All right. Till next time. Peace. You know what I mean? I learned, you know what's crazy? So I kind of same shit, but not really, right? So I learned today on the job that, normally you're like, fuck you, right? Fuck you, right? You know how you give that back? You go like this. You give the fuck you back like that.
How about a kiss your fuck?
Yeah, like, hey. And they're like, someone does that to you, they flip you off, you go like this. Hey, you know what?
That's a lesson to all y'all. Kiss their fuck. They don't know what to do about it. I think that Dunn and I give like a whole lot like that too, just because
it's a commercial break. It's like elevator music.
Where are we going? What floor?
We're going to the 12th or the 29th floor. I don't remember.
I think the 12th floor zoned is the 29th floor.
That's what. See, somebody had told me that. Floor 12, zone 12 is really 29. But only certain people know that.
I don't know where to go with that one.
I don't know. Like, what do you tell someone? They're like, hey, fool, I'm looking for the 12th floor. And they're like, you need the 29th floor? Yes, god damn it. It's still the 12th floor. 12, is it a castle? Is the 12th floor the 29th floor?
They're like, you said I'm in room 29.
So are you really in room 12?
But there's only a room.
What if you come across a room that's 1229?
I mean, probably want to open that, or at least knock.
Knock.
Yeah.
There's probably
least
bass
knock on
coming
it.
out from.
Yeah, there's probably going to be bass, fog machine.
Yeah, you want to knock first. You hear the bass coming out of the 1229 room.
Yeah, you'll hear the bass before you get to the 1229 room. You should. Should smell something. It's usually scratch and sniff along the way. OG Snosberry.
Ooh.
Take a rip of that.
A different kind of no reservation?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with
What do
that.
you want me to
All
say?
right.
Okay. Yeah.